In health news tonight, there is a new campaign to fight the so-called bubble boy disease. It's a rare and deadly condition that affects children's immune systems, putting them at constant risk of infection. There is a cure, but only if it's caught very early. Today, Ontario took a bold step, becoming the first province to test newborns for it. Robin Gill has the story of the family who pushed for this to happen.
Brooklyn Peters was just 5 months old when she died. It started out as a cold and developed into pneumonia.
They were testing her for everything you can imagine, and they still didn't know. They told us she was a mystery, and she was just getting sicker and sicker, and we felt we were going to lose her, and we just didn't even know why. We had nothing to fight.
After she died, lab tests showed she was fighting a rare condition. Brooklyn had severe combined immune deficiency, or SCID.
This makes them extremely vulnerable to infections, a lot of different kinds of infections, repeated infections, and often they will get very sick and die in infancy.
The Peters were told if they had more children, they had a 25% chance of getting this same syndrome. Ethan drew that straw.
He was diagnosed within 24 hours, so he was put in an incubator, and he was never exposed to any sort of germ or bacteria.
Ethan underwent a bone marrow transplant, which was a success.
The data says within the first few months of life is really the best, and we certainly want to get it done before there's any infections.
Ontario is the first in Canada to test for what is described as a pediatric emergency. The ministry figures it'll save 10 children in that province, but not all jurisdictions test for this particular syndrome, including British Columbia.
1 in 60,000 children in Canada will be diagnosed with this disease, and the long-term cost to care for them could reach the millions. British Columbia is now looking at implementing this test.
We need to move across Canada and get this implemented in other provinces and territories.
The syndrome first came to the world's attention in the 70s. David Vetter, known as the Bubble Boy, spent most of his life in a germ-free plastic cocoon until he died at age 12. He was infected with a virus during a bone marrow transplant. For months, the Peters lobbied the Ontario government to make the SCID test mandatory for all newborns. Today, success.
To know that something good can happen out of the tragedy that we experienced.
Now 8 years old, Ethan is very much living a normal and healthy life. Robin Gill, Global News, Vancouver.